My name's Larry Dinkins, and I work with Overseas Missionary Fellowship, and this is coming up on year 30 of involvement. 22 years in Thailand directly, and the last 7 years I've been a mobilizer here in California. I started out in Central Thailand working with leprosy people. I did basically TEE type training. I was told that this is the cutting edge of how you do distance learning. Basically, it was called the Home Bible Seminary, and you would take leprosy people with maybe 4th grade education through 66 books. One book for every book in the Bible. Very laborious in my view, analytical, writing out, print-oriented. But I was assured that this is the way that TEE was done. Then I went to a place called Bangkok Bible College, and since I had a degree from Dallas Theological Seminary, I taught as I had been taught. So very much analytical, systematic theology, expositional type training. And I was involved in that for about 12 years. Came home because of a medical emergency that my wife had. She had cancer, which was obviously a major crisis. However, that allowed me to be exposed to the Thai church in Southern California. So here was a man that told me about simply the story, and he had been coming to this. His name is John. Where's John? John's here. John is right here. Thank you for the picture. And John encouraged me to come down. Now, I had done a PhD in Walk Through the Bible, so I knew at least the meta-narrative and the idea of teaching the big story. But I didn't have anybody that had trained me in the detailed stories that fill in the overall umbrella of the Scripture. And so I came here. I've been to lots of workshops. I have a fairly good academic background. I went through the training as you have gone through the training. And that time there was a number of Thai people that were being trained. People who were lay people in the Thai church. And so I got to the end, just like I've done in many workshops, and I was told that I could get the first level of certification. And I think Dorothy had her eye on me because she's the one that evaluated me. And I thought I heard the principles of simply the story. But unfortunately, all of my background kind of was heaped into my presentation, and I drew upon lots of my knowledge that were outside the story. And as you know, you should not go outside the story. And what was very fun about it was when I was through and the evaluation was completed, Dorothy didn't immediately say, a pass or fail in this. And so one of the Thais spoke up and said, "The question is, Dorothy, did he pass?" And Dorothy basically said in her very gracious and sweet way, "Well, no, he didn't pass." Now, that ticked me off. I am the Right Reverend Larry Dinkins, PhD, and I've passed a lot harder courses than I did simply the story. And I went home to my wife, and I said, "Wifey, I paid good money for this course, and this lady had the audacity to flunk me." And my wife, similar to the story of Job, right? She said, "That's good, Larry. You need to be humble." And I think what struck me is I am educated past my intelligence. And on the level of the 4 people that were standing out there, I'm not the guy with glasses, and I'm way out here. Extra high literacy. They used to give me a book and tell me to read the book and give a report by the next day. So for me to get my mind around somebody who is either non-literate or functionally illiterate, semi-illiterate, I can tell you that's not something that comes easily. So this is my 6th training. If there's anything I can encourage you about, is be absorbed and soak in the whole idea of an oral culture. What is really strange is Thai people were oral people. I didn't understand that because just like Dorothy said, they'll say it's 95% literate. However, when you don't use it, you lose it. And people who have had some education in Thailand are reverting back to functionally illiterate. Plus, when you do the research, you find out that Thai people are oral. They have the highest viewing rate of TV in the world, and most of those are soap operas that they follow religiously because they love story. There's something called Like, which is a staged drama presentation, which is the best way to present the gospel in Thailand. didn't pick up on that. I still taught as I had been taught from Dallas Theological Seminary, which is good stuff. And I think we're always going to emphasize that we do not denigrate other people's methods or the methods that we've been taught in. They have their place. But as a tool belt, we need many tool belts. This is not a silver bullet, but it needs to be a part of the arsenal of communication techniques that we give to people. Okay? Now, when I really picked up on it, started coming to this and using it in everyday life, because I feel like it's the winsome way to gossip the gospel. The early disciples saw and experienced visually in portrayal of the gospel in front of their eyes, and then they simply related that in a told story, and they did it over and over again. And that's what my hope is. I would like to have a Rolodex of various stories that I can pull out in pastoral situations, in situations where I'm counseling people, when I'm preaching in church. And just like in the airplane the other day, I turned to 2 teenage kids and I tell a story, and I go through at least to the step through. I go to my house and someone's having macular degeneration. I tell them the story of blind Bartimaeus, just on the fly. And that's my hope in my life, because I see this in Dorothy, Andrea, and others, and Bromwell, that you want to absorb this to the point that it becomes a part of your DNA. And that you're ready at any moment with the Bible in your heart pocket, as she talks about, to share winsomely, not in apologetics, Josh McDowell type fashion, but be able to relate the truth of the Word, because theology is embedded in these stories. And there are power in these stories. Okay, this is what happened to me.